guys, today I thought we'll do something a bit different. Ali and I will be doing a little question and answer time between mother and daughter, and hopefully it will touch on some of the questions that you might face within your own family between a teenager or young adult and their parents. Or anyone. True. Shoot.
Okay, first question. How do you deal with a specific insecurity?
Okay, basically I feel insecurities are good to start off with. They sort of make you face something that is needed to come into your life and face. There's Puli and Nuku in the background distracting us, by the way, guys. So basically what I would say is that it's good to recognize insecurity because it means that you're meant to challenge that thing. So if someone has an insecurity, say about skin, pimples, scarring or something, I would suggest that they actually go out to the world and show it off. Actually own your pimples. I know it sounds weird, but own your pimples, own your scar, go out there. And the next step is always you can use creams, you can use you can have a good regime for bettering your skin and stuff, but I always suggest actually take whatever your insecurities is and putting it out there. See, like even if it's a body thing, then you've always got the ability to eat healthy and do exercise and change it. But first of all, always go out there with that body itself and say, you know what, I love and I own this. And then you can, once you become you are happy to own that insecurity, you can always move to the next step, which is, okay, I can do something to better it in a natural way. So that's how I face insecurities. First, owning what you have.
Long answer. Okay, now next question.
Pig.
Now next question.
Pig.
Now next question.
Pig.
How do you deal with other people's opinions? Do you take it personally, or do you ignore it or acknowledge it? How depending on what would you do?
That's quite a good question. Basically, I feel like in this day and age, a lot of people do get affected and do worry about other people's opinions. It's due to the fact that we've got so much exposure, with the internet and social medias and stuff. Everybody's looking either for their own self-worth, or they're happy to have an input in someone else's life, right? So really it does come down to yourself and how you see yourself first. So for me, I really have a good, strong base of who I think I am and who I want to become, and therefore I don't really allow outside influence unless it's of value, because see, certain people and certain things are out there to also always lead you throughout life, but it's a matter of you being a good judge of where to take that advice from, or where to take that knowledge from, and where to disregard that value and knowledge from. So I have focused on putting my energy into certain teachers and spiritual leaders and great human beings that are actually teaching and showing us how to live a better life, rather than I would say people that are out there to judge you for what you wear, what you look like, how you talk, how you walk. So it's basically about you putting value in those people that have value to you. So that's how I don't take things personal. I mean, I do respect, I feel like everybody's got a right to say and think whatever they want. It's about me allowing that to affect me or not affect me. I mean, that comes down to my own wish.
Do you think it's bad to worry about how you look, or do you think that it is necessary to take pride in yourself? Where do you find the balance?
See, I do believe that you have been given a body as well as, you are a soul, and both things are important because they work together. So if you have a healthy mind, healthy body, you can have a healthy soul as well, and healthy soul also creates a healthy body because you're aware and you're conscious, right? So it's very, very important that you look after yourself with the food you take in, with your thoughts, even with the way you live your life. It actually exercise, it all helps you to maintain the physical form, right? So more than the clothes you wear and the style, I'm more concerned about the health of your body and the state of your body. Do you know what I mean? It's more about that, because you can always dress up and buy fancy clothes, and you can, you know, add to that. But I feel when I talk about worrying about how someone looks, it's always about maintaining a healthy state of body, mind and soul. So it is actually very important to know what you're eating and what you're thinking and what you're doing, and how, you know, even exercise, it's quite important.
So you have a YouTube channel which has a purpose to help people and give advice and stuff. I have seen a few YouTube channels where people don't necessarily offer anything or give, say, even if it was like beauty advice or training tips for training an animal or something, people just put their life out there. What's your opinion on that? Just having no purpose, but just to show, just to vlog your life. What's your opinion on that?
Basically, you never know, right? Even those people, if they don't have a purpose and they're putting their stuff out there, you don't know, it could touch someone, right? Randomly. So maybe if someone is putting out videos of how they play with their dog unintentionally, it could teach someone else that, hey, maybe I should spend more time playing with my dogs too. So you might not know your purpose, or you might not know that you're touching someone else's life, but indirectly, if you're putting some sort of positivity out there, happiness, you know, sometimes looking at a picture or just looking at someone playing, you know, it can change the way you see things and you can apply it to your own life. So not everything has to come as an intention that I am doing this to make someone else do something. Maybe just that joy, that happiness can reach other people without knowing it. So, as you know, good on people for putting happiness and positivity and stuff out there, you know, it's a good thing.
Okay, so Zaraba's your first boy child.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were raising him versus raising me and Ria, was there anything different about how you raised him, or different about him in general? Like, what's the differences?
Basically, honestly, I would say that I have tried to raise Yuli and Zaraba similar. He has a different energy to you guys, and you know, even Ria has a different energy to you. However, the foundation of self I have tried to maintain in all of you pretty similar. So if I've tried to instill upon you self-worth and, you know, how to treat other people and to love nature and say, you know, I have tried to do that with Zaraba as well, and which is important, right? Because it's not a gender-based thing on how to raise a kid. I mean, they maybe energy levels and other things will be a little bit different. However, the basic foundation of a human being, or the core of who you are, I mean, you know, my job as a parent is to actually try and nurture that loving, respectful, you know, self, which you guys are born with anyway. So I don't feel like I have really, you know, raised you guys differently. I mean, you guys were cheeky too, you know, being girls. I didn't stop you. I exposed you to a lot of things like Zaraba gets exposed to. You know, you guys are allowed to be loud and crazy like he is. I mean, you know, it's just that as I learn more, I am able to apply, even now I am able to apply those lessons to you and Ria as alongside with Zaraba, you know. So I feel like I have pretty much raised you guys the same. Do you feel that?
Yeah. Okay. When growing up, what is one of the biggest challenges you think you faced in your life?
Ooh, when growing up. I feel, okay, I've had a few challenges. So like when I've come to Australia, I guess I was different, and sort of like my parents were quite strict. So I had to deal with the whole, you know, typical Indian parent, and I was never allowed to do a lot of things. Like the way you guys are able to do a lot, I wasn't able to. So I had to learn to accept that whole no to begin with. And I struggled with that at the start, because you do compare yourself to other kids and see that they can do this and they can do that and you can't, and it's quite embarrassing at the start. So that's what I'm saying, challenges are good, because you sort of you sort of grow into who you are and what you are able to do in life when you face those challenges. So I quickly did accept that my parents weren't allowed to, weren't saying yes to a lot of things, and I gained strength from it. Actually, I sort of changed it and flipped it and thought, okay, you know what, I can't do those things. I'm going to own it. The faster I own it and put it out there that I'm okay with it, then other people actually were okay with it. So that was one of the challenges, but it helped me grow. So I really became very self-assured. Another thing too is, you know, going through single parenting or actually accepting anything that's quite different in society's eyes. I loved it because it sort of grew me into who I am, and not many things touch me these days, and I don't take things personal because I'm very happy in how I live my life and sort of own who I am, you know, to be honest.
Okay, what would you say to a person who's feeling alone? What should they do? Feeling alone in life.
All right, so first of all, being alone is not a bad thing at all. If you, one of my suggestions is to actually love to learn how to love to spend time with yourself. When you're quiet and when you're alone, I mean, it's one of the times that you're actually very true to who you are. So I believe that you should not fight that, actually see what you can learn from that. Secondly, you sit down and work out what are your key likes, interests, passions and stuff, and then, you know, go out there and do those activities, because you will find people that like the same similar things doing those same activities, right? So there's two sides to it. So you got to be proactive, right? You can't sit in the room and go, I'm alone, and then just sit in the room. You actually have to go, okay, I'm alone. I'm either gonna use this time to sort of, you know, meditate, do my own thing, learn to love my own time, or sometimes you can go, hey, you know, what do I like to do? I'm going to put myself out there and do those activities, and then meet people that are doing similar things. Quite simple.
Okay, say you are the parent of a child who has gone through some sort of trauma, whether it's to do with abuse or bullying or some sort of incident that has happened. How do you suggest a parent deal with that to help the child move on?
Okay, so the basic thing is that, look, trauma or incidents in life are pretty much inevitable. So there's some sort of disturbance that can happen to a kid. It's life, right? And our job as a parent is actually to be present with that kid. And it's not the trauma that gives the kid issues later on in life. It's actually not dealing with it, right? So for me, I would say that if a kid is going through something in life or has faced some sort of trauma, it's like being present every day in that child's life and giving solutions. It's not just saying, oh, okay, I understand you're going through this. No, kids need that. First of all, they need acknowledgement that they're going through something. Give them importance that, yes, I understand. Secondly, be present. Anytime that kid wants to talk about anything small or big regarding that issue, you are present, right? And the other thing is to give kids some sort of solutions, you know, regarding that. Help them. Even if you can't, you take them to people that are like inspiring or been through something, or they can talk to, or they can relate to. So be active in trying to get that kid to understand it's okay, and let those kids know that you respect what they've gone through, but there is another side where you take charge in, you couldn't help what life threw, but you can help in how you deal with it. So kids should be aware that there is another side to it, you know. And so the parents' job is to first understand and accept and acknowledge, right? Then be there at any time that kid wants to talk about it, and daily give solutions and offer help, and, you know, expose them to anyone or anything that would help them cross that bridge.
Okay, another question. Say you have a child, so like Ria. Ria is in character, she's very different to me. So me and you can relate more because we both are, well, we have similar interests, but Ria's quite different.
Yeah.
And not just that, say if your kid's going to generally through teenage years when they more isolate themselves, or say they isolate themselves or they're different. How do you keep a child having a good relationship with you and not keep stuff from you and stay connected in those times.
Okay, so if being an awareness parent, is the right way of saying it, being a parent that's quite aware of each child and their differences and similarities, I do notice that. So my job is to make effort more than she would to do things that she likes, right? So if it's some things that she likes that I'm not really keen on, I have to actually make that effort to do those activities with her, whether it's painting nails or talking about something that she likes, like arts activities or something, like show interest in what she likes, even though I might not like it.
Yeah.
And also, you know, if she's isolating herself during teenage years, to be aware of that and say, hey, come, you know, I'm noticing that you're in your room a bit, you know, a bit more and spending time alone, and that's fine, but also come and, you know, have some mummy and daughter time or family time, or let's do this together, and that, so that even though she's going through that stage, which is a normal stage, because you do, you know, you're going through those certain, you know, lessons yourself and stuff, it's important to always keep a check on how much alone time, you know, how much, and always have conversations. So always, whether it's a stupid topic or whether it's an important topic or it's a small topic, always be open to just having conversations. I mean, miscommunication and the loss. So what happens is during those teenage years, a lot of kids create distance and parents create distance because of not communicating. So even if a kid is communicating on basic level, like silly topics, it's a good thing, you know, so don't lose that conversations within a family. So those things will always keep you connected. That's what I feel.
What do you think about parents going through their children's phones and reading their conversations and looking at all their
Okay, that's a
social
good
media?
question. Basically, see, I believe that if you're in tune with your kids, you do have an understanding of what each child is like, right? Now, before you allow your child to have a phone or social media and all those platforms, I feel like you should create a platform within your child. You should have some sort of understanding. You should know and be aware of, is it a child that needs checking, or have you set them up so that you trust them enough that, you know what, you can trust them enough to know that they won't be doing certain things that need checking, you know? If they're really, really young, say, and they need phones because they're traveling on the bus alone or something, it is not a bad thing to check your kids' phones, because you don't know if, you know, other people are messaging your kids that maybe could be pretending they're young but they're older. So that's fine by me. But I do believe that after a certain age, if you know your child, you don't need to be checking their phone. You know, you can ask them, because there should be a trust built already. They should be aware, and your kid should be, you know, friendly with their parents to be able to tell the truth as well. So, you know, it's not about always giving 100% detail, but parents should be aware of who is speaking to their kids, who they're speaking to as well, what their kids are looking at, what they're not looking at. You know, that dialogue should be open. So I do believe that, you know, and if you are open to your parents being around you while you're on social media and that, then you're not hiding anything. I mean, if your parents look over and see you typing and you have to hide something, then you know there's an issue. But if you're sitting next to your kid and your kid's happily typing away or looking at stuff, then you already know that there's nothing hidden, you know? So it's a basic, those things come in time, you know, so it's how old your kid is, you know, what relationship you have, what kind of flow you have between, you have to read into your kids to know this stuff, you know, because there has to be a respect. Thanks guys for being a part of our question and answer, and I would actually recommend that you and your kids actually sit down like this. I mean, we've done it on, you know, this platform, but it's a good thing to sit down with your kids and say, hey, do you have any questions for me? What would you like to ask me? And then answer and see if you guys can, you know, have question and answer sessions between each other. It does open up the gates, and it does open up the conversations for lots of stuff. Like some things Aaliyah have asked me today, I didn't think she would have thought about, but I appreciate it. And hopefully, you know, and you can ask your child, vice versa, you can ask your child questions as well, and it will sort of open up to maybe you understanding how they're thinking, what they're going through at the moment, and it will keep that, you know, connection and bond closer and tighter. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, and thanks, Aaliyah.